What's up, Disrupticons? This week we get to have Matt Vincent on the show, world champ Highland Games athlete, producer, mind behind athlete star of Drifta Lifta on YouTube. You can find that on his YouTube channel, Matt Vincent. And then we will talk with him and stick around to the end to hear a little bit about Hate Brand Goods. And we're going to bring you a discount code to the Hate Brand store. So if you want to catch some of the cool shirts and hats and other awesome stuff that he's putting out, we're going to give you a little insight for it. So stick around to the end. Welcome to the Disruptive Cast with your hosts, Brandon, and Dave.
Howdy.
As always, Kevin running the technology.
Yes, sir.
And we're pretty pumped today. We've got a super cool guest who's been on a handful of other shows and has a pretty cool YouTube show himself. The Matt Vincent.
What's up, guys?
What's up? How are you doing today, man?
I'm good. I got up, had some coffee, did some type of exercise, and now I'm doing this with what was my breakfast.
There you go. So you guys, you're doing, is this kind of off-season training for you right now?
Very much so. So my off season basically officially started yesterday, and it was a rough go.
Oh, yeah?
A lot of whiskey.
Yeah. Oh, I wish. That would have been a better plan. I
Yeah.
kind of got cold, as you can hear, so I apologize for that or coughing.
That's all right.
But, so I start off every off season with like 10 weeks or so of high volume work.
Yeah.
So I'll do like 10 by 10 for 5 weeks and then 10 sets of 5.
That's miserable.
5 sets of 10 for the next 5 weeks.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah, it's awful.
Shoot me in the
And
face.
so last night, since I basically skipped the first 10 by 10, because it's my program, I'll still do what I want.
Right.
And then went into 10 sets or 5 sets of 10 last night at 60%, which was like 360. It wasn't any fun.
No, that sounds bad.
I'm going to say that's the worst.
I don't want to do that.
I don't really want to do anything for 10.
No?
Yeah, I try to keep the rest like under 90 seconds.
Oh,
That's even worse.
Yeah, it's not a great plan.
Yeah, why?
I don't know. It hurts.
Yeah, that's a good enough reason sometimes.
that sounds
Feel the
like
base.
me
I mean,
last
I
week.
still feel like some cardiovascular ability, even being a strength athlete as far as a Highland gamer helps some.
Oh, sure,
I'm
sure.
still doing 9 events all day, so being able to recover a little bit better while in the field does make a difference.
Yeah, and I've heard people like to stay alive, and so I've heard cardio is helpful for staying alive.
I hope
rumor.
so.
Maybe overrated.
And
Rumor.
I seem to be a lot better at that than the lifting of the weights.
Yeah.
You're a skinny guy.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think the $10 word is you're an ectomorph.
Yeah, I used to be really skinny. Like
We had some discussion about those words last week in Reno. I still don't basically understand any of it.
No, I don't really know why you have to make up words to make it confusing to people who are not in the industry to talk about things.
Yeah, what I would like to just say is I'm moderately fat, but I'm good at a lot of things.
Perfect.
The
So
fattest
that's
hipster.
why Highland Games is perfect for you.
It's
because
basically perfect for me.
the
My
combination-
odd set of skills has transferred really well to this fringe sport.
yeah,
Sounds
so
like something I need to pick up.
there you go. So how?
there is an event in Greenville.
Yeah,
Yeah, there
Furman.
is.
Yeah, a bunch of the folks go down to that one.
Yeah, and you, right?
No, I don't go to that.
Yeah, it's pretty small. Right?
It's not-
It's also very hot.
It is hot in the middle of
Yeah,
summer.
they don't have much of a budget.
Yeah,
and I don't
right.
live very close.
Right.
So
Yeah. So the Highland Games, they do a pretty good job kind of getting you guys around to stuff, right?
it's incredible. It's really, really an incredible sport. Like I've said a lot, I have found an amazing loophole of athletics where your top guys in the Highland Games usually come from a track and field background of throwing or at least some other professional type sport, whether football or where else have other guys come from? The Olympic type sports or some strongman, stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, I compete probably 20 times a year, and I mean, they pay for our travel.
Man.
And by they, I mean like the individual event. We don't really have a federation or a governing body, which is excellent.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, you don't need it. And then, we're paid as entertainment.
Yeah.
And so, we're there to put on a show for the crowd and compete. It's not WWE. It's not like it's scripted.
Oh my God.
Right.
But WWE is awesome.
Although it should
what
be.
if-
I
but
wish
what
we
if
had
it
more
was?
Mixing loud music.
Yeah, smashing
yeah,
tables.
why
and
would you
stuff.
not want an interest song?
So I guess, my buddy did the Highland Games here, and like when he was doing the saber toss, it was crazy.
Caper?
Like,
Saber
Caper?
toss would be
Caper.
awesome. Caber
Like the
toss.
Buffalo Sabres? Like,
Yeah.
No, they were tossing cutlasses.
But I mean, it's like when I hadn't been to Monday Night Raw in my entire life. I went 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
It's unbelievable. It's
Yeah,
like
when Undertaker walks out, life changes.
oh, man.
And he's
I mean,
like
life
150
changes.
years old.
Is professional wrestling right now. This guy, Adam Shear.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Adam Shear's awesome.
Yeah, so he's kind of been called into the bigs, I guess.
Yeah.
And making a name for himself. Hopefully, he keeps running. I know that industry's crazy.
Crazy.
Oh, yeah.
You guys
But he
should.
got a chance, like he
and
sent
it-
me a text the other day, and he's like, "I'll be in Mexico City wrestling the Undertaker and Kane." I'm like, "That is nuts."
Yeah. What?
what's crazier that's happening,
How's that even possible?
or that they're still
Right.
wrestling?
And the thing is,
Yeah.
yeah, because
Everyone has had to
Undertaker's
wrestled the Undertaker at this
yeah,
point.
Undertaker's like 56 years old, and
insane.
he's still dropping tombstones every week.
Yeah.
Scripted
I mean,
tombstones.
It
my
doesn't
man.
matter. It
Hey.
does not matter.
That looks like it would hurt my head either way.
yeah, exactly.
I was laughing with Mark Bell about that because, like, hell, his brother wrestled the Undertaker.
yeah.
Yeah.
Tombstone by him. That was like 20 years ago.
I know.
Right? That's crazy. So for people who are maybe not as familiar, can you kind of describe the Highland Games a little bit?
Sure thing. So we got 9 events. And so they're all the heavy events, so the throwing, stuff like that. And so we have 2 stones that we throw just like the shot put. One's heavy, one's light, and one of them you get a full approach, the other one you kind of standing throw it. And then we have 2 hammers that we throw, which are kind of like the Olympic hammer, except you don't spin. You just kind of wing it over your head. It's basically a stick with a ball in the end of it.
Yep.
We have 2 weights we throw for distance, a 28 and a 56. Throw those with one hand. They're kind of a ring, a couple lengths of chain, and a steel block.
Yep.
And then we have the caber, or saber, as it's often referred to, which you actually throw for accuracy. So it's the only event that we throw that way. And so the idea is that you want to flip it end over end and have it land directly at 12 o'clock away from you.
Yeah.
You can run up as much as you want to, but as long as you stop and it lands and flips and the head of it ends at 12 o'clock away from you, that's perfect.
Nice.
Anything off of that would be a less score. And then we throw a weight over bar or 56 pound up over a bar. And then we do the sheaf occasionally,
Yeah.
more in the States, which is the 20-pound burlap bag we throw with a pitchfork.
Yeah.
Which is the best.
Right.
Yeah, it's
I
also
love
fun
that
traveling with a pitchfork.
Yeah.
Definitely. So you have
Is there
a
like a
competition
certain
pitchfork?
brand?
Yeah,
Is there a certain brand?
I love it. Do you like take it out like a pool cue and kind of screw it together?
I wish it was way more
Check
trick,
down it.
but it's not.
Is yours more of a trident, or is yours
That's a
more of a
big
trident, or is it,
Fork. It's
is there,
fork.
or do you use the 4-prong?
There's a 3. It's definitely a trident.
Dave.
So
Dave.
But why
they've
was
got
it say
2
fork?
prongs.
Why would it
People,
say
people
fork?
either typically throw with a 2-prong or a 3-prong.
Yeah, because I've watched them in that. Yeah,
What's the why? What's
because
the
you
difference?
can get your hand in the
Who knows,
Basically,
right?
whatever you can get a hold of easier. I
your
threw.
hand in like that.
Okay.
I think I threw with a 2 for like a little while, like as an amateur.
Yeah.
But then once I got good at throwing it, I needed a 3, especially switching to the heavier bag, the 20 versus 16. The 2s would just flatten out, and then the bag would shoot off.
Uh-huh.
yeah.
So I needed something with a little bit more rake.
There you go.
That way, I mean, you can feel the fork flex in spring.
It's awesome how something that you would think is not technical at all has so much thought behind it.
Oh man,
Look, I'm a nerdy thrower too, so like if there's any
how deep do you go in
slight
that?
details,
How deep do you go in the sheaf when you put it in? I mean, I've watched people.
Hey, now.
Hey, I'm just,
All the way.
Some just try to get it barely in, just enough to be able to hold it on the fork.
I'm not even sure who's talking to me. That's the part I'm crazy
Yeah,
about. Right
no, Kevin the producer is off screen a little bit. Yeah, sorry.
I mean, it depends on how deep you want to get in there. Sometimes you just spit on the tines and jam them right through.
Got it.
Okay, well
I
that
usually try to hook the corner actually so that you get a pendulum swing
Little
from
bit
the
of a
bag
whip.
as well to help with the flick.
gotcha.
Nice. And so how long have you been competing in Highland Games?
2009, like in November, I did 1 game that year, and that
Okay.
was my first one.
So about 6 years? Yeah, there's Kevin dipping in from the side.
God, he is.
So in that time, you've had a great deal of success, right? So
Yes.
how has that gone? You've been
I took very, very well to the sport.
yeah.
I think my first couple years, let me think. So I did the first game in 2009, was kind of local to here and had a good time, and I won the amateur group, the novice,
Yeah.
kind of first timers type thing that I competed in. Had some good numbers. not good numbers, but okay numbers.
Yeah, I mean, as a
And
beginner.
from that point on, I found a couple more games and went and did those, and kind of got better really fast.
Yeah.
And then fell in love with it, so started training it a lot. Throwing 4 days a week or 5 days a week, kind of like I did in college.
Right.
And weird, you get better at stuff.
When you do it 5 days a week?
Yeah,
Who knew?
Now, you went to college at LSU, correct?
that's correct.
Okay.
And through there?
And you did one on the track and field
shot,
scholarship.
disc, and hammer. Basically, kind of going through college as a thrower and then moving to the Highland Games is like having cheat codes.
Ah, sweet.
Yeah. So you
Yeah,
did the Konami code and then
our buddy
99 lives. Here we go.
our buddy Tom Stroka did the same thing.
Yeah.
Oh, Tom Sroka, that son of a gun.
He's a good buddy of ours.
Yeah.
He's great. He's one of my the Hate Brand sponsored athletes.
Oh
Yeah.
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 Sweet.
yeah.
I've seen a lot of those hate hats on his head.
Yeah, why did I not have one of those? I'm going
That's up to you.
online now.
You could make it that way by way of action.
There you go. Call to action. That just happened. Business lessons for everybody right now.
Ask for the yes.
So getting into it, so when we say a great deal of success, you've kind of won the big show a few times, right?
Yeah, I won the World Championships in 2012, which was my first full season as a professional.
Yep.
And then again in 2014 in Scotland.
Yeah.
And
I bet you that was
other
awesome.
than one other competitor, it's basically been he and I at the top since 2011.
So how do these old school, Highland guys who, obviously probably Scottish, Irish, whatever it is, see an American come in and kind of dominate the way that you have?
The Scots have kind of stunk for a while.
Yeah.
Boom.
No, there's some good dudes over there. It just sucks, right? So you don't have a university system as far as athletics go in the UK.
Yeah.
And so you don't get the same development like we do over here.
Sure.
With track and field or anything like that. So no one's getting track and field paid for university living over there. So you miss out on that window. And then two, the games are a whole different animal in Scotland. Like I compete every weekend basically in the US.
Yep.
And the competition level's pretty high. In Scotland, I mean, they basically only compete for like 2 months, but they compete like 3 times a week for 2 months.
Oh boy. Yeah. That's a heavy season.
So, I mean, I'll do 20 games from May till the end of September,
Yeah.
and they'll do between 30 and 40 games in 2 months.
So
So
just
you
the wear
really
and
don't have
tear.
time to strength train,
Yeah.
the same like we do and back off every week and make a real run at it.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like a lot of your games in Scotland are just going to be training and you're competing for cash.
Hey, that makes sense.
Hey,
Do
dollars and
people
cents.
can
It
people
sounds-
there make a good living off of
No, no
winning
one's
that
making
stuff?
a living
Right, sure.
for Highland Games.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's for sure supplemental income. I mean, one of the guys who's been really good in the UK for a long time is Scott Ryder from
Yeah.
London. He was an Olympic bobsledder. His throw and shot put with some pretty good success. I think he did maybe Olympics in Sydney. I don't think so, actually. But Commonwealth Games, he's done pretty well. Yeah, he's a teacher. And
Okay.
so, I mean, during the summer, he basically just takes off to Scotland and drives the mean machine around and goes game to game. And, I mean, shoot,
Yeah,
basically
makes the summer
makes enough
income.
salary.
Right. Yeah. No, that makes sense. That'd be a fun way to make it too.
Yeah, fun and profit. That's basically the reason we do it.
It kind of translates, like if we're looking at weightlifting in the United States, like there's not as many opportunities for weightlifters to, well, not necessarily maybe compete, but to be incentivized
To get paid to compete.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially at the high school and college level. Like
Sure.
you were saying, kids in the United States can go to college on a college scholarship to throw for Highland, but in weightlifting, that's just not going to happen. So
Sure, but I think one of the mistakes we're making with weightlifting, I'd read an article Chad Smith wrote a while back
Yeah,
about
that's
it.
a-
I think
yeah,
it
smart.
makes a lot of sense, but that's
Yeah.
the USA Olympic Committee should be looking at collegiate athletes, your shot putters, your football players, your guys like that who are basically done with their athletic careers as soon as
Right.
college is over. And this would be a great outlet for those guys. And I mean, they're already doing those lifts most likely.
Right.
I mean, how many videos do you see of some sloppy ass lineman, cleaning 400 pounds?
Yeah.
Right.
It just looks
and it's
terrible.
ugly, and he's just that
You
strong.
can't teach that dude to clean.
Right. Yeah. No,
So-
totally.
Well,
Totally.
and now we're starting to see these young kids coming into the game, like CJ Cummings, who's 15
Sure.
years old. And what's going to be the hardest thing for the United States to do with CJ is that he's a good football player. So to keep him off the football field is going to be
Why
very
would you
tough.
want to keep him? I mean, look. I guess I'm for that, but I guess I look at it realistically. It was like, why would you want to keep that kid off the football field? If
Yeah.
that kid's good enough to make a living playing football for
Right.
2 years, he'll make more as a practice squad player if he's good enough to make the NFL than he'll ever make in 10 years of weightlifting.
Yeah.
Oh, no doubt. Easy.
Yeah.
So
That's the
until
reality of
then, weightlifting.
Right. Yeah. There's got to be some reason to
You
do
get
it
second-team
outside of
athletes.
your internal drive.
Yeah, I
to do it.
remember talking to a coach in China, and I think we've talked about this before. To create an athlete like Liu Xiaojun costs $6 to $7 million. So from the start of his
Yeah.
Sure. Well,
career of
and there's-
17 years old to now
There's more to
30.
it than that.
Yeah.
With the way the state runs it, the same as Russia. Yeah, I mean, or not Russia, but old Russia, let's say.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not willing to do that here. I mean, we're not willing to send people out to analyze 10,000 kids and bring in 1,000 of them, and then in a year cut that down to 100.
Right.
Bye, go back to do what you were doing.
Right.
And a year after that, cut that down to 10.
Yeah. No, I need my T-ball trophy.
The only sport I can
Right.
see that doing is soccer that comes closest.
Yeah. Soccer club sports
Yeah,
here.
but in the U.S. and clubs, you need all of it. Like the only way that the upper level soccer clubs exist is because they pay, like they have hundreds of kids paying to play on low level clubs.
Right. Oh, yeah. They subsidize it. It's smart.
I mean, yeah, it's genius. Just hey, listen, if you give me 20 hours a week of your time, you might be able to play in high school.
yeah.
And they're selling
Yeah.
that.
And they are.
And they are. And that's,
And scouts will look at you when you're 12.
but
It'll be awesome.
specialization is just not a good idea.
I think it's insane.
Yeah.
The multi-sport athlete is the best athlete. and
Usually.
that's what we-
Of course. Yeah, our country things have gotten skewed a little bit. Hard work does not equal success,
Right.
No.
but it ups your chances.
I totally agree. It puts you in the pathway.
but not necessarily making you the greatest. I know how many pro athletes would just
Look,
woke
man,
up
I mean,
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I'm a decent athlete and I've had success in a handful of different sports, but there's no amount of basketball camps or coaching that would have got me to the NBA.
Right.
I don't
Definitely.
have it.
Right.
No.
Right. It's a different. You got to be a 10 and then do 10 level work to show
right.
up and do that stuff.
Even if you look at Ilya this week at the Russia's Cup, he clean and jerked a 4-kilo world record. If you look at his body,
insane.
like his torso is longer than his legs. Like there's not many human beings that are built the way that Ilya is built,
Sure.
and that's part of it. Like that's a huge part of it. So you have to take genetics obviously genetics is a big part of it, almost probably the biggest part of it.
You mean people don't look like LeBron James in high school? I mean,
LeBron James is 6'9", and he weighs 250 pounds, and he's the fastest person on the court.
yeah.
He would have been good at anything he wanted.
Anything.
yeah.
Anything.
Yeah. Any athletic event.
The specialization with sports with kids. Look, I'm glad that that's happening, and if that's what kids want to do, I'm all for there at least being an avenue for it.
Sure.
However, the trophy kids type stuff with parents thinking that this is the difference in your kid going to college and not
Right,
going to college,
right.
it ain't the fucking deal.
No. Put that money in your bank account.
And what you've done
help
is
them pay for
basically make your
college.
kid possibly hate the sport that you've
Exactly.
pushed him into
No, no,
by the
perfect-
time he goes to college.
Perfect example here, okay? And I'm an example of that because
Yeah,
when I went to
burn out on
college,
baseball.
I was burned out 2 years into my college career. But my youngest brother, who's 14 years old, started playing travel baseball at 8 years old. And at 9 years old, he told my parents, "I don't want to play baseball anymore," because
Right.
he was burned out. He
In a
lost
year,
a
at 8
love.
years old.
He lost a love for one of the greatest sports in the history of the world, and
Yeah.
he hasn't played since. He hasn't
I'm
played.
with you.
He hasn't played since.
Yeah.
So it was something that he loved that he played too much of, and if he would have been playing tennis, if he would have been playing basketball and playing football,
Yeah, get
he
a
still
break.
would have had a love. I mean, even us being 30 years old, I remember, and I went to college on a baseball scholarship, but the only time I played baseball is when it was baseball season. You know what I'm saying?
course,
like,
sure.
because I played basketball, it was basketball season.
Right.
That's how it was. I didn't
Yeah,
train
no, I
for
think that's
anything.
smart.
Same for me growing up.
Exactly.
We had a field near our house that basically, we mowed baselines into.
Yeah.
And played, with a baseball bat and tennis balls because we didn't have enough people, and that way you could bean people with the ball and they'd be out.
Right.
Right.
And then
And you
We
can
play
hit
football
bombs
out
with a
there as
tennis
well.
ball. Yeah, totally.
Swimming
So-
was the same way for me.
Yeah.
I swam from the time I was 5 years old till I was a freshman in high school.
Yeah. No
you
thanks.
have short course and long course,
Yeah.
and it's every day, and it's horrible.
Forever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
just
mean-
grinding people to a pulp.
Well,
so
Yuck.
yeah, right. So let's change gears a little bit. So we've been following the Drift to Lifta series.
Yeah.
How did that come to be?
Well, I was already doing that basically.
Yeah.
You know, I travel a lot for work, and I have been since I don't know 2009 or about the same time. I guess I got started in the Highland Games and
Sure.
kind of strongman and stuff like that.
Yeah. Just a
And so when
sales
I was
job.
on the road, I started hunting people down to go train, and I mean this was way before I'd had any success at anything, and so people always had an open door. I went and trained with Steve Pulcinella up at Iron Sport,
Yep.
and Bert Soren, and those guys, and Dave Tate, Jim Windler. Got into those gyms and just met people and built relationships, and
Yeah.
I still have those relationships today. And a lot of those conversations that happened in either Jim's garage or, talking with just Bert and Richard or, having a beer, man, I just felt like those things needed to be shared,
Yeah.
that type of insight. And so that's where it stemmed from.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. There's a lot of guys who are not going to take the time like Jim has to write down what they think, and when they go on, whenever that time comes, you just lose all that institutional knowledge. So that's a noble calling, actually. Yeah. That's bigger than just having fun and getting stuff done. So that's adding to the body of knowledge. So what's been your favorite one so far? We're gonna make you not have friends anymore.
Oof. It'd be weird. I would have to say the first season going out to the West Coast, and that was the first time I met Kelly Starrett.
Yeah.
And that was through Mark Bell and Jesse, and I've developed a hell of a friendship with all three of those guys.
Yeah.
And that friendship itself has probably been the most motivating and life-changing.
Yeah, that's what they say, right? You're the sum of the people you spend the most time with, right? So it's pretty good
There's
to
a lot of truth to that.
to spending time with people who are ultra positive and successful. Yeah.
I find Kelly alone to be that way, at least for me. He's got something.
Yeah.
He's got something. I can't put my finger on it, but when I'm around, it's just, you're engulfed by it.
Yeah.
He's positive. He knows stuff, and he's funny and charismatic and all of those things. And we've become close friends. So, I mean, once a quarter, I try to fly to California and go stay at his house for a couple days and
That's
just
awesome.
basically soak it up.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
And then I can, in that same circle, go see Mark and Jesse.
Sure. Yeah. All live relatively
Yeah.
close together.
Are you thinking about a rap album with Mark?
No.
He has on his videos. I wonder how much time that takes him of his day to come up with those.
Knowing him, who knows? But I know he's a better rapper than the Kali Muscle guy is.
Kali Muscle.
Oh, Lord.
That guy's the worst.
I wonder if
I mean, look, that guy's doing some neat stuff, but his rap is really bad.
that guy. I mean, I feel like his muscles when he flex, his skin could pop.
Yeah. He's enormous.
Does
Big
Mark
boy, right?
like hip hop though?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait,
I would say
everyone loves
more than
hip-hop.
anything else.
Yeah.
Really?
Why?
Who
Why
doesn't
even-
love
yeah.
it?
Because he's white.
Oh.
Oh,
But
I'm
then
not a
again, I
big
listen to
fan.
a ton of
Racist.
hip hop. Yeah.
Have you met Mark?
yeah,
No, I have not.
He has an Escalade with slingshot rims on it
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
and a hat with a gun on it. Yeah, Mark?
Yeah. That's awesome. I don't know what you're trying to say by all those things, as if they were stereotypes.
Racist to me.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. So, share maybe one or two of the behind the scenes stories, some of the fun things that have come across from those travels.
Oh, I made the mistake of working out with Jackie Perez
Yeah.
on one of the last trips. If you're not familiar with
Were
her,
you
Right,
ever?
yeah.
Were you
I
able to
assume you're
focus
male,
at all?
so you know who she
Yeah.
is.
Right.
I was hanging out with Jesse, and they had a powerlifting meet, and so decided one morning, I was like, "What are you doing, Jackie? Let's film some stuff. It'll be good for the tubes."
Let's work out. Right. Yeah.
She was like, "Well, I'm running hills tomorrow." And I'm like, "Fucking sweet. I've run hills before.
Yeah.
No big deal."
Oh boy.
And should have taken hint because Katie Hogan looks at me, and two of the other super fit girls,
Right.
CSA, They're like, "You're gonna go run hills with Jackie?" I'm like, "Yeah, I've run hill sprints before. It's not a big deal. I'm friends with Windler. I know all about that.
Right.
All
He knows what's up, right? Yeah. Push the sled, run up a hill.
And they're like, "Oh, that hill's terrible."
Just for reference for you, like how big are you?
I'm 6 foot, like 280.
Yeah, right. So this is not like I'm going for a jog size for most people.
100 pounds more than me,
Yeah.
the same size.
Yeah.
Right. And like I should have taken heed that the really fit people were like, "Oh, that's a bad idea." And I'm like,
Yeah.
we'll be all right.
No, it'll be cool.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
will love it. They'll eat it up.
And so like I asked one of them, in stupid Louisiana brain, like, well, how big is this hill? And they're like, I don't know, like between 400 and 600 yards. I'm like, what's that? It's how big?
Yeah, I think hill sprints. I'm like, it's just right here. I see the top.
That's
I'm gonna run up the
exactly
hill.
what I had going on.
10
right?
seconds.
Like, would be crazy.
Like
Right.
3
Yeah.
minutes.
There's no elevation change in my entire state, so I was like,
Right.
there's
Yeah.
no hills that
This will be
size
fine.
ever. And so we pull up, and sure enough, it is just this basic like vertical death march. So I just like shook my head. I was like, "Ah, shit."
Well,
So she was like, "You want to just jog the first one?"
Just jog.
So like I set up my GoPro and filmed like us jog the first one
Yeah.
and walked back down.
Right.
And it was a 7-minute round trip.
Oh boy. No.
And so
just no.
We take off on the second one. And I eventually slog my ass up to the top and walk back down and look at her. I'm like, I'm going to sprint the last 4. And when I'm tired, I'm going to stop. I'm going to return from there.
oh,
You do whatever it is you're doing.
Yeah.
She just laughed.
No,
Yeah,
that's horrible.
I severely overestimated my fitness and underestimated the hill.
Yeah. No, that's great. Those are the best stories, though. Again, with Matt Vincent and hearing a little bit about Drift to Lift to Highland Games. So, with all that stuff going on, how do you fit it in? Right? You're traveling for work, you're traveling for Highland Games, you're still lifting weights, doing 10 sets of 10, like an idiot masochist, I don't know. But how do you get all that stuff done?
It's time management for sure.
Yep.
Also a bit selfish.
Yeah.
And take full advantage of the fact that my real job allows me to work from home.
Sure.
So it becomes a little bit more fluid, right?
Right.
So, I get up every morning. I usually get up without an alarm at 6 or pre-6
Yep.
or 6:15, somewhere in that window.
Right.
Somewhere time before the sun's up. Make coffee, and then I sit down, answer emails or send emails I've got for that day for work. And those emails also transfer into Hate Brains Good Stuff. So I basically do work stuff till 9:30.
Yeah. So you get 3
And
hours of
then
cranking.
3 hours, I get to
That's about as long
knock
as
a
you can
bunch of stuff out.
concentrate anyway. I mean, that's a good time to take a break.
Sure. So I take a break, and I usually go in the garage and do something for 30 minutes, an hour.
Yeah, and
Stretch.
you've got your gym in the garage, right?
Exactly. So
Yeah.
I've cut down a lot of the wasted time.
Sure.
So I don't drive to a gym. I don't have to do any of that. I'm basically always in gym clothes anyway, since I live in my house and I dress like a scumbag.
There you go. Perfect.
So
I know the feeling.
yeah, so I can work out. This thing basically allows me to work from anywhere,
Right.
and I answer my phone 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
And so, I sleep for, 6 or 8 hours a night.
Right.
And from basically the time I lay down, like at 10 p.m. or 9:30, like I am asleep.
Yeah. Oh, you put all the energy out during the day, right?
Yeah. I don't fuck around in bed. Like my wife laughs because I'll put a TV show on while she's reading, and I basically make it through the opening credits, and then I'm done.
Done. Nice.
So what did your wife think about all of this?
She's stoked. I'm a neurotic and busy and fidgety person as it is, and I don't relax well. And
Yeah,
so
I get that.
finding these outlets definitely helps me be happy, which makes us happy.
Sure. Yeah, I get that totally.
If I'm shitty, I'm really shitty.
Right.
And that's really nice to have a partner like that can just allow you to say, you know what, do what makes you happy.
Well, I mean,
It's
look, with all that said, it's an easy pill to swallow. You figure YouTube videos, Hate Brain Goods, travel, my work,
Right.
writing.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not getting in a whole lot of trouble.
and competing. No, I don't get in much trouble.
Yeah.
And 2, everything I'm doing has income.
Right.
So yeah,
It's a little easier pill to swallow than me sitting here and just, I don't know, doing fucking nothing. It's like I'm taking naps on the couch.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. The hustle has something to do.
Don't get pregnant, if you can tell. 'Cause I'm trying to do my whole life with a baby girl strapped to my side. So
That's true.
I'm not certain about modern medicine, but I don't think I can get pregnant.
yeah, but you know what I mean. Your wife.
Are you sure?
Ding, ding,
Have you
ding.
tried?
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Have you tried
Have
to
you
get
seen
pregnant?
Junior?
Trying like hell.
Have you seen Junior?
Junior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
That's the point. I believe it was a documentary.
I think so. I think so. And if it was about Arnold, it's got to be true.
And Danny DeVito being his twin, it really throws a weird wrench
Yeah.
in the
Hey,
mix.
genetics are really a challenging thing to understand at this point. So with all that stuff, so writing, you know, I have.
I'm going to pre-apologize if my dogs freak out because they got to fix my windshield too.
Awesome. That's what dogs are for. They're the alarm system.
Great.
So what's with the writing? You've got a handful of training books, right? Training manual kind of deals. So talk a little bit about maybe Strength Lab, stuff like that.
Sure. So I've got 3. I've got a Training Lab, which is the first book I wrote, which was my take on like a full season's approach of training for the Highland Games.
Yeah. So how to fit in training between competitions and stuff like that.
Yeah, you know, how to peak, and throwing's a different animal to compete 20 times a year instead of say 4 times a year for powerlifting.
Yeah, definitely.
And you can put all your focus per competition, whereas if I want to be really good in August, I got to kind of blow off a little bit of the competitions in May.
Makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. It's like college football, right? You got to win the games at the end of the season,
right. You know,
right?
track and field or the Olympics or any of that.
Yeah. There we go. Hello.
Hello.
So Training Lab and then Throwing
I did a
Lab.
Throwing Lab, which is kind of a step-by-step approach to each of the actual throwing events, and so how to throw those things. So if you're not into Highland Games, neither of those books is really worth a shit to you.
Yeah. So let me ask you this: how much can you really learn to throw by reading about throwing?
I think it's important. I've got a ton of pictures in there too,
Yeah.
so that helps. And I tried to draw it out the best way I could with crayons.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. Yeah, I'm just curious because I enjoy the concept of doing some throwing, things like that. I mostly power lift, but it'd be fun to do something a little more athletic because I grew up playing basketball, whatever.
Well, I mean, throwing stuff. I mean, even for your training for powerlifting, I mean, you're talking about true sub-maximal speed work, right?
Right.
And so, I mean, even throwing a medicine ball for height,
Yeah.
I mean, you've got to have the full body apply force to it in an order,
Yeah.
and that's all going to happen immediately.
Right.
So that's kind of the trick of throwing, and where I enjoy the challenge of it is, I mean, nothing I throw is heavy.
Sure. No.
And so it's about trying to be able to apply, 400 pounds of bench or, a 600-pound squat into a 16-pound object.
Right. Right. And being able to turn everything on immediately
Right.
to apply that
Horsepower.
force. Yeah.
So, folks at home, get that indoor shot put and throw it around the gym.
Now,
There you go.
I do have a question, though, for you.
Sure.
The guys that throw the hammer, okay, it's not really like a spinning one. Basically, like you said, they basically take it over their head
Yeah.
and they spin at their waist. But they also have this boot that has like a knife at the end of it.
Yeah, blades.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is your opinion of that? I mean, I guess it's something they've used all the time. I mean, I guess you like it.
I guess that's what you got to do. Yeah. Or
Yeah,
no.
you have to have it.
Okay.
Otherwise, the 22-pound ball that I'm going to throw 110 feet will pick me up off the ground.
What kind of torque is that putting into your hips?
I don't know, a lot.
Okay. No, I just.
Scientifically, I'd have to say
me put it on the goiniometer.
27 kilonewtons.
I just think to me that throw looks the hardest to me.
that is the hardest one for me to get better at. I've spent probably the most time in the last 3 years trying to improve that event, and it comes and goes. I'll do something that it's like, holy shit, that worked great, and then I can't
Repeat it. Can't find it. Yeah.
Is it the torque or is it the release point is the hardest part?
Yes.
All of it.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah,
all right.
that's a lot of things happening in a short period. It's kind of like doing a snatch,
there's
right?
lot going on. So I'm
Yeah.
basically trying to catch it as far back behind your right side as possible so you can accelerate the right side and push and then switch the hips over and catch.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you're trying to keep the hips in front of the shoulders, which actually builds the speed.
So it's a lot like hula hooping for big guys in dresses,
Yes.
Or swinging a baseball bat.
I feel like there's something I should be training and I haven't.
right? Yeah. I mean, that might be the secret. Just the hula hoop.
Weighted hula hoops.
Chubbs Peterson said it. It's all in the hips.
All in the hips.
Next
Thanks,
week,
Chubbs.
Vincent.
Right.
So yeah, the third book.
is Strength Lab. And so I wrote that as my approach for any athletes who want to train to be stronger and more explosive.
Yeah.
You're a gym guy, here's the layout for what a real athlete trains like.
Yeah, and I read that one and enjoyed it. So you said a lot of the principles maybe underlying it came kind of out of your relationship with Jim Wendler. And
Sure,
talking
absolutely.
about submaximal training and not going, 100% every time you come to the gym.
That doesn't make any sense.
I agree. I totally agree. I'm actually training less and getting stronger right now, which is kind of a fun paradox. I'm enjoying it.
I'm just training a lot less.
Period.
Because it's December and Imperial
Yeah.
Stout season.
There you go.
Very, very
Well,
excellent.
That's
point.
workout fuel, right?
Currently on an alcohol fast for 2
20
days.
minutes.
2 days.
48 hours.
Haven't had
Hold
anything to
back,
drink
boys.
in 48 hours.
See, it gets cold outside, and I always just switch to liquor.
That's smart. Yeah, that's smart. What's your go-to? Like, if you had $100, what would you buy? I know this is a little off topic,
That's
but
fine.
I'm a bourbon guy, so
For $100,
$100.
if I can find a bottle of Pappy
Pappy
Van
Van
Winkle Lot
Winkle,
B on
I
the
was
shelf
about
for
to
70,
And have 30 left
Yeah,
over.
it's
Yeah,
that time of
for
year.
snacks.
This is when Pappy's coming out.
yeah, which I can't ever find on the shelf.
Just get the
No.
Kirkland's brand.
But I have one.
Oh, do you? Which year?
Yeah.
10, 12, 15,
The Lot B, so it's a 12.
12. Yeah, that's a good one.
But normal drinking stuff, I usually drink like in the 50 to 80 range.
Yeah.
Like Blanton's, I really
Yeah,
like.
Bland's starting to become tough to find.
Yeah, Barter House, the old Rhetoric.
Yeah. Barter House is really tough to find.
The Orphan Barrels are really good.
Yeah, the Orphan Barrel, and I know this is completely off topic, but you got to understand, Orphan Barrels means that they're buying bourbon from a company that is out of, they don't make bourbon anymore, and that's the last of it. Like, that is it. And Barter House does a really good job of that.
Cool.
It's good stuff. It's delicious.
Nice. That was pretty nerdy.
Yep.
I like it.
I'm a bourbon nerd.
I'm a fan of nerds.
Yeah, I like things.
Yeah, stuff and junk. So with Strength Lab, what would you say maybe are the principles that would apply to everybody versus the kind of tactics or the strategies for a particular time of the season or things like that?
So it's definitely going to be submaximal training, and it's training smarter. The biggest thing that you can do as an athlete to make the most amount of progress is never be hurt.
Makes
And
sense.
so shit's going to happen, and catastrophic failures occasionally going to take place, and there was nothing you could do to prevent that anyway.
Right.
But training smart and eliminating the risk, versus the reward, that when those things become out of whack, is the smartest way to do it. And one of those reasons, since I train alone in the garage by myself,
Right.
there's really no ego in my training. And so, always going for a rep max versus single is smarter.
Yeah. Yeah. You can pull another couple and be much less likely to end up balled up in the floor.
Correct.
Yeah.
Me getting pinned by a squat in my garage is a stupid idea.
Right. Definitely.
You can push deadlift a little bit more. You can get
Just
out of
let
that.
go. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not looking to get pinned by a bench.
No, definitely not.
Wife comes home and just finds me dead.
Right.
I've had
Throw a
this-
bench press.
When I was working in a commercial gym, I had to rescue a few people. It was not fun.
Those are some of the best gym
It was-
fail videos, though.
Of course. I mean, why wouldn't you drop 10 pounds off the bar and then hit a triple instead?
Yeah, definitely. Makes sense. Now, have you seen
no one in
the...
my garage cares if I PR'd this week.
They don't?
Nope. It's just
Dang.
me in there by myself.
I actually don't actually care if I PR. Like I said, I'd rather be healthier and
Yeah.
be able to walk around and go outside and do something. Not so much in December, but
Yeah, sure.
I mean, we live in a great
Right.
place.
Just out of curiosity, do you have a 405 deadlift rep max? I bet it's ridiculous if you do.
I have no idea.
Oh, man.
I could do a
I
lot
just
of
did this the other day, and it was stupid.
I could do a lot
How many did you do?
22.
I bet I could do more than that.
I bet you could. You're probably stronger
I
than
don't
me.
want to.
No, I didn't want to either.
I'd
I
be
felt sick
bummed
to my
out at
stomach
10.
when I looked at it. I didn't even start yet, and I thought I was going to throw up.
I don't think that I've deadlifted 405 more than 20 times in my life.
We got to get you on the strength lab.
Cumulative.
I did a pretty ugly 405 set the other, so I did a 10 minutes on the clock and
Oh, yeah.
every minute on the minute
Yep.
deadlifted.
Yep.
And did a triple for the first 3 minutes. I did it at 500 pounds.
Ooh. Yeah.
And so I did them not every minute on the minute, but every 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So did triples for the first 3 minutes at 500 and then went to 405
Strong.
and then pulled triples the rest of the way.
Yeah. That's exhausting.
Phone's ringing.
I'll have to try that.
Smart.
I need to talk to any of those goddamn people.
No worries.
I don't know why they even. I've never answered that phone.
A house phone?
Ever.
You have a home phone?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Unfortunately. Did somebody sell you a bundle?
No, my wife got it because my house is apparently a cave of cell phone service.
Oh, yeah.
Smart.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
But I don't know that number.
So how do you get it? How do people call this? I don't even know what it is.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Cox Communications.
Right? Yeah.
Sweet.
Set that up.
Now, Matt, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
All right, this is the
we go.
voice from
Okay,
nowhere.
here
I
we
love
go.
it. I love it how you start
we go.
every question.
I got a dumb
I got a-
question,
I got a
but
question
I'm
for
gonna
you.
ask it anyway.
It's like writing an essay and saying, I think. Shit, you're writing it.
I just wonder.
What is the most you've ever Turkish deadlifted?
Turkish
get up?
How many Turkish get up?
Turkish
Yeah.
deadlift.
Turkish deadlift, it's a new sport.
We lift ball
goes
off the
with
ground.
Turkish
You do it with
coffee.
one arm.
You do it with a hookah.
I did it with a person.
Yeah.
You do it with a hookah.
I did.
Robert Oberst,
Turkish,
you picked him up?
a couple
You guys
years
are
ago.
great comedians. I'm swearing. You guys really are. No, what is your max Turkish get up?
Yeah. The human.
I did it with a 150-pound dumbbell. I followed that up with doing it with an inch dumbbell.
Yeah.
And then I did it with, you guys know the dudes at Soreneck. So one of the weightlifters that was over there for a while, Shane, one of the coaches,
Yeah.
I did one with him.
Nice.
Oh, I've
So
never,
like a 175-pound person.
I've never done with
That's strong.
only small women.
Smart.
Yeah.
It was,
Yeah, that's easier.
yeah, it's
I
much
did it with
easier.
a competitive male weightlifter.
Yeah,
Right.
I did
He's
it.
probably very dense.
I've done it with a 100-pound kettle. I've done it with a
Very.
100-pound kettlebell because I got talked into it. Schlarb, you can't do that.
That's harder.
Yeah,
It's
and
harder.
I did it and broke my wrist.
yeah, that's
And
what I was just
out.
gonna say.
I was out for 6 months because I broke my wrist. But I did it.
That's
That's
one
all
of those
that matters.
catastrophic failures that you can't plan
Dumbbells
for.
are way safer with heavy Turkish get-ups because those kettlebells get so big.
Yeah, it's a lot of leverage around the wrist.
Yeah,
Definitely.
unless they're like made of dead stars, it's just not gonna.
That is one of the best absolute strength exercises that you can do.
Picking up dead stars.
It's also one if me as a coach who runs a gym, if
I
we
think
want
it's a
to
good
have
test.
a day, if we want to have a
off?
day off,
The day
we
before-
program Turkish get-ups.
Day before,
Yeah, we're going to do
200
Turkish
wall
get-ups
balls.
and run. No one's coming.
I saw my
I don't program them into my training in any way, nor do they're. I don't know. There's something. I think they'd be a good warm up.
I think it's a circus
great.
act.
I don't consider. Yeah, it's the same thing as I consider
an
a max
event.
overhead squat.
Yeah. You weightlifters don't really need to max overhead
No,
squat.
they don't care.
Yeah.
What's it?
You just need to snatch the weight.
the RKC loves them some Turkish get-ups.
That's
Well,
true.
Of course they do.
That's their bread and
It's
butter,
one of
though.
the only things you can do with a kettlebell.
Yeah, my favorite recent thing to do with a kettlebell is tape another one to it and foam roll with it, like Donnie. So that's
Not a bad move.
an easy
We
one
tried
to do.
in the infancy of CrossFit to teach people to snatch a kettlebell, and I was like,
Yeah, hitting yourself
Oh.
with a ball peen hammer over and over again.
and I was
right
just
in the
like,
forearm.
all right, this.
Well, not if you do it correctly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
but-
mean, if you're a good coach, I guess you could do it.
But
Well, I just told you we had
We
some-
programmed it. We programmed it last week. So
we had
Yeah.
someone try to hit a volleyball like an arm with a baseball bat. So
Hey,
still
we already
working
talked
on
about
it.
this, right? You got to be an athlete
Yeah.
first.
I just need Michael Jordan's.
Yeah. So
Got some in the car.
reading in the strength lab, right? We get the description of the hate. So tell us about this HV triple I. What's the story?
So it's something my brother and I had discussed for a long time, and we'd kind of laughed about it, looking at athletes and things like that. You know, and it was really looking at like the old powerlifter guys, right?
Yeah.
Gary Frank or Windler or, those guys, pushing back then, Louis,
Yep.
and, like Windler, like fat Windler,
Yeah. Yeah.
like, shitty bloated eyes Windler.
Yeah.
And
Wearing
I've
multiply.
never had that amount of singular focus on a goal ever.
Right. Yeah.
that everything matters to this, and everything else will play secondary.
Yeah, where you pick your job so that you can get to the gym to lift and everything else. And it's like, that's it.
Man, there's something about guys who have that. I fully respect it. And there's a certain level of hate that goes into that. And so we always kind of described it as like, man, that guy hates himself way more than I do.
Yeah.
And kind of just developed from there.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, the basic breakdown of it is kind of self-motivation through self-loathing.
There you go. That's
So
Spite is
the reason I train is because I'm not terribly happy with myself. I'm not happy with what I see in the mirror. I want to be better. I want to be stronger. I want to be healthier. I want to be fitter. I want to be more athletic, throw further, etc.
yeah.
And every day I want to do something that progresses that.
And that's
That's
what
a good way to live.
Yeah.
that's the way to burn up the hate.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had to tell that to someone the other day.
You hate them?
No, I was like, listen, the greatest motivator is anger a lot of the time,
I would say fear is.
Fear, anger,
Pain. Hate.
whatever. I mean, those
This
feelings
is
are all so
exciting. That's like,
closely
hey, I want to
related.
get better at stuff because I
I don't
hate
know.
myself.
Sex
and
is
I hurt.
way up there.
Yeah, but
That's usually a fear boner.
That's it.
There's an Instagram called that.
Of course
Yeah,
there
it's
is. Of course there is.
I didn't know you guys knew about my other Instagram name.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah, it's good to know that you're behind that. And maybe not
Maybe.
behind me.
It's good to know.
Yeah, definitely. So with all that stuff, where did the motivation to start a kind of a lifestyle brand around that come from?
So I'd had the books out, and this, I guess, I made the first T-shirt last October.
Okay, yeah. It's been
A
pretty
little over
recent.
a year ago,
yeah.
right? And it was dealing with the guy who handles my shirts now. This guy, Phil, out of Ohio or Kansas City.
Yeah.
And he kind of mentioned that he runs Windler's site and this and that. If I ever thought about doing a T-shirt, this is how we should do it. We should do a pre-order, and if anyone buys it, that
Then
way
you make it, right? Yeah, smart.
Yeah.
No
So I was
risk.
like, and that way, whatever profit you get from that, you use that to buy more stock and grow the business that way.
Yep.
And kind of always felt, I was like, I don't really have the following
Right.
to start selling items.
Sure.
I was incorrect.
Yeah. What would your minimum threshold? What did you think it needed to be before you got started?
Well, I was, my opinion was like, man, I just don't really want to sell 10 T-shirts. Like, that's not.
Yeah, it's not exciting.
That'll
You're
make
like,
you feel
oh
bad.
man, I made $100.
Because, I mean, look, the hassle of coming up with designing and putting out and doing all that to sell 10, the work on the front end of that isn't any more than selling 1,000.
No.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
And so I wasn't going to half-ass it. I wasn't
Right.
just going to go with a standard font in Photoshop and write hate on a shirt. That's not how
Yeah. Makes sense.
I care enough.
Yeah.
And so made a shirt and did pre-orders and sold, I don't know, like 50 of them.
No, that's
Yeah.
great. That's a good start.
In 2 weeks, I was like, all right.
Yeah.
It's like, we're going to sell some shirts now.
Yeah. Makes sense.
And,
And
made some other designs, and things have hit and things haven't.
Sure.
And it's been really great all year. It's been a lot of fun to have that creative outlet for design work, as well as, growing the brand and
Yeah.
that side of the business.
So do you do all the designing?
Yes and no. I come up with designs.
Yep.
Sorry, excuse me. Bye.
Nice.
Awesome.
Couldn't have scripted it better.
I was about to
Right.
say.
That was perfect.
So, like all the design work and stuff like that, I come up with some loose designs. I can draw and do some digital work.
Yeah.
But to make it really ready for a shirt, I've got another buddy, Drew, who works with a company Slash that can turn those things into an actual
Yeah.
digital
Professionalizes
thing.
it out
Yeah.
there for you. Yeah.
I can do it, but it's going to take a month.
Right. Right.
Whereas he's like, I had 3 quick clicks with buttons I didn't know existed, and all
Yes.
of a sudden it's digital.
Right. That's so frustrating and awesome at the same
Right.
time. Cool. So let's start winding it down. We'll ask a couple of kind of rapid fire questions. And then obviously we've talked a little bit about the things that we can promote, the hate brand, the books and all that good stuff. So first little one is what's your current go-to training music?
This morning I listened to Fetty Wap.
Oh, great jams.
Nice.
Great jams.
Yeah.
Fetty Wap. I listened to Red Fang. I listened to Irons. Shit. What was it? I Hate God.
That's a Jim Wendler favorite.
Yep. I like Kanye West.
Yeah.
So a mixture of hip hop and heavy stuff.
Just
Yeah.
had a baby.
Just
Yeah.
hate music. You know.
Yeah, sometimes things are mellow. Sometimes I listen to David Bowie and the old Rolling Stones.
Smart.
Nice.
New David Bowie album's actually very good, surprisingly.
What's the name
Yeah.
of it?
It's something weird. Go look up David Bowie 2015 on YouTube and watch the newest video. It is the weirdest
His
thing
videos
I've
are always
ever.
weird.
No,
They're so
this is,
weird.
This
He
is
fell
the
from Mars.
weirdest, the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life. Like it was haunting and terrifying. This guy is nuts, but I'm in
He's
with
the
David
best.
Bowie. Oh, he is. He's unbelievable.
Nice.
Starman is fantastic.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah. So what what's your favorite method for recovery? What do you think helps the most?
Other than food and sleep,
Yep.
I like contrast stuff. I like a hot bath, cold shower.
Yeah.
I get a lot of mileage out of that. If I'm really beat up, I'll do ice stuff.
No, we haven't heard that before.
Oof. I don't like
Right.
the ice.
I don't like it.
Oh, it's terrible.
nobody likes
Yeah.
No, but I do it as contrast too. So I'll do ice in the tub and then get in the hot shower
Yeah.
and go back and forth. Just try to flush whatever area. Recently, I've been using the Compex a lot.
Yeah. Doing the stem treatment. Get
Yeah,
things
just letting
flexing
that
and
thing
moving.
low frequency so it's not a fatiguing pulse. Flush out that area.
Yeah. Makes sense. And then what's the best purchase you've made lately under $100?
External microphone on one of my cameras.
There you go.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
yeah.
Audio is so important on these videos. It can look
Yeah.
great, but if you can't hear what people are saying, nobody
that would
wants
be,
it.
That would be a pretty good one.
Yeah.
That's smart.
When can you name a time in your life that you have laughed the hardest?
Last
Doesn't have to be a story. It just
Yeah.
has to be something.
No, it'll be So
Yeah.
last every year for Christmas, the last 3 or 4 years since we don't have kids, we take off and go somewhere.
Yeah.
And so last year we had 4 couples went to Amsterdam for a week and
Nice.
rented a big apartment kind of in the
Yeah.
canal system. And
So you know what happened?
when in Amsterdam, you do things in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
God, just we would end up at the like the big dining table in this apartment we had every night, enjoying ourselves.
Recreationally.
Yeah, so instead of like we had originally started playing games like Liar's Dice and things like that, but those became far too complex at some point.
Yeah.
They
You need to
just ended
simplify
up in
things.
trash talking and a dice stacking competition.
Nice.
Nice.
Fucking just laughed until I cried.
Love
and I don't know if science can tell you how good that is for you,
Oh, I was about to say
but
something.
it
Yeah.
has to be.
It
Laughter
has to
is the
be.
best
It's
medicine.
So,
Yeah.
It's so medicinal.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So one more little more challenge, but what's kind of challenging or stretching you right now? What's making you grow?
Business.
Yeah, trying to manage all the different streams of
Yeah.
things. Yeah,
That stuff for sure. And still taking care of the real job.
right. Because that's still the real moneymaker
Yeah.
paycheck. Keep you in the house.
Go ahead and be honest. That's the thing that affords me my life.
Right.
Yeah.
The rest of this is neat fun.
Yeah. And it
Yeah.
gets, some new plates for the garage gym and so on. Right.
Right. It allows me to travel and do awesome things with awesome people
Nice.
and not have to stress about those things. But yeah, keeping the real job in check.
Yeah.
And
And it's
know,
hard
making sure it's
sometimes
on that.
when it's not as much fun as all the other stuff too.
no, it's not. But
Right.
I still like what I do.
Yeah, that's great. That's great, and it's important. So, where are the best places for people to catch up with you online if they want to get at one of these sweet hats or such? What's the right spot to look?
So all of my gear is at thehate.com.
The Hate.
That's
HVIII, right? Yeah.
HVII.com. On Instagram, I'm I Hate Matt Vincent. There's a Hate Brand Goods on Instagram as well, which I rarely update. I'm not very good at managing a second account.
Yeah,
They need
hey.
a better app for that.
Yeah, it
terrible.
sucks switching and logging out and
sucks.
getting back in. Definitely. I totally agree with that.
Hey, Mark
Takes
Zucks,
minutes
if
of
you're
my
listening,
Yeah, fix that. Easy switching.
he just had a baby, but get on it.
Yeah. And then YouTube is just Matthew Vincent.
Nice. And that's where we'll find the Drift to Lifta stuff.
That's what the Drift to Lifta series is, as well as all the other daily videos I've been producing.
There's quite a lot.
My vlog.
The vlog.
I watched a lot of them. I watch a lot of YouTube.
Yeah, it's
Same.
way better
I
than
watch
watching
more,
TV.
Trust me.
I hate TV now.
Yeah, I watch. It bums me out. Like, so we got rid of cable like 2 years ago. So I don't watch Hulu or Netflix.
Yeah.
Well, I can pick and choose what I want to
Exactly.
and minimize commercials. But
Right.
like, if I'm in a hotel room overnight and turn on TV,
Oh my God.
I feel like I'm on another planet. Like, I'm like, what the hell is this?
It's horrible.
This is what people watch. People greenlit this.
They do this. Like, they sit in their house and watch it for
Like
hours.
a bunch of people got together in an office and they were like, you know what you do? We need to make a show. Kids cook dinners for people.
People, they'll love
Why
it.
aren't we doing that?
We will love it.
You mean what children are supposed to be doing?
There you go. Put them to work. That's why you have kids.
That's right.
That's why I have kids.
Put them back in the coal mines.
Boom.
What I say.
Nailed it. I like coal. Coal works.
All my
You don't need
jobs.
10 fingers.
Who does?
That's right.
Doesn't even make sense.
Only thing I'm missing is teeth.
Yeah, I do have some fake teeth and some broken bones and such. But anyway, as we're kind of wrapping it up, Dave, where can we find you?
SMCF_Dave.
At B Chapin on the Instagrams.
AbsOnDeck.com.
Yeah, absondeck.com.
AbsOnDeck.com.
Of course. And I am at Disruptive Fit on Twitter and Instagram. And the KevBots
I'm just at Buckethead Media.
at Buckethead Media. So thanks again, guys, for listening in. Thanks so much for sharing with us today, Matt.
Dude,
We
great time.
appreciate it, man.
Hey,
It's cool.
Thanks so much.
Thank you,
Good to
man.
hear the stories. And so, ladies and gents, we will see you next week. Hey, thanks again for listening to the show. This week, again, we had Matt Vincent on. It was awesome. You guys are awesome because you're listening. So go down to the bottom and subscribe on YouTube. If you're listening via iTunes, go to YouTube and watch it because we look better than we sound.
We're in live color and in HD.
We've got faces for radio, so you want to see it. You can also head over to the website, disruptivefit.com, and sign up for the newsletter where we will get all the cool info out to you about opportunities to hear from guys like Matt Vincent and perhaps some of his pals who may come up on the show in the near future.
Thanks for listening again to the Disruptive Cast, hosted by Brandon Simpson, David Schlarb, Brandon Chapin, and Kevin Harrington. Edited by Buckethead Media. Music provided by Travis Brooks.